Go back to politics now because faith is becoming a factor in the Republican race as #2 ranking Ben Carson takes on frontrunner Donald Trump.
I don't in any way deny my faith in God. And I think that probably is a big difference. That's a very big part of who I am. Humility and the fear of the Lord. I don't get that impression with him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't get that impression.
Reaction now from presidential candidate Mike Huckabee, who also happens to be a minister. Great to have you back on The Real Story, Governor.
Thank you, Gretchen. Great to be back.
So can you question the authenticity of somebody's faith in presidential politics?
I guess you can. I just find that it's hard enough for me to keep up with my own relationship to God. I'm not going to try to get in and decide what someone else's ought to be or what it is, because I don't know. I have to stay fresh with God every day. I know I'm a sinner. I ask His forgiveness every day. And frankly, it's all I can do to keep up with my own authenticity of faith.
So Trump said about Carson, look at his faith and you're not going to find so much. He went on with some criticisms. Ben Carson now today is asking him actually to apologize. I mean, is this how we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks and months, just with barbs going back and forth, or should we try and find a higher ground?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If there's a big mud puddle on one side of the stage where people want to wrestle in it, I'm going to choose to get on the other side of that stage, because I honestly don't think that most Americans want to see a mud wrestling contest among the Republicans. They want to see somebody rise up with leadership skills, get the country back on track monetarily, militarily, and morally. And that's what I'm offering to be as a president. And honestly, I'm going to let everybody else just duke it out when it comes to making evaluations of each other's faith.
Okay, so the triple M coming from the Gov. I want to ask you, though, about this. Donald Trump in hot water because of something he said now about Carly Fiorina in Rolling Stone attacking her appearance. Here's what he said. I know you heard it, Governor. Quote, look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president? I mean, she's a woman, and I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on, are we serious? Well, then Trump defending himself this morning, and Fiorina seeming to shrug it off. Listen to this.
Probably I did say something like that about Carla. I'm talking about persona. I'm not talking about look.
What do you take that to mean? Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?
I have no idea. And, honestly, Megan, I'm not going to spend a single cycle wondering what Donald Trump means. But maybe, just maybe, I'm getting under his skin a little bit because I am climbing in the polls.
All right. So she seemed to take the high road, something I was just talking about. Where do you fall on this controversy?
I think Carly showed a lot of class. She didn't take the bait, and I think that's what she should do. I'm just scared to death that Donald Trump will get a load of me one day, take a good look, and Lord knows what he's going to say. I could be in real trouble. But if he does, the good news is, look, I'll enjoy the publicity and all the attention.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. All right, now to Kim Davis, the Kentucky County Clerk jailed for her faith, for refusing to issue the marriage licenses to gay couples. You were there when she was released from jail on Tuesday. It happened actually during our show live. So what would you advise her to do now when she goes back to work next week? Her attorneys, Governor, have been very evasive as to whether or not this compromise with the judge was going to be something that she's going to follow. What would you tell her to do on Monday?
I'm not her lawyer. She's got an excellent lawyer in Matt Staver and the folks from Liberty Counsel, and they'll give her the good legal advice. What I would say to her is just from more of a spiritual standpoint and even a political. You've taken your stand. You've taken it because of your convictions. Hold to your convictions because they're genuine. One of the things that so impressed me about Kim and her husband, they're lovely people. They're genuine. They're sincere. They're humble. And they were a delight to be around because there was no pretense in them whatsoever. And I just found it refreshing to be around people whose faith was authentic, and their positions they were taking had nothing to do with the politics. They were uncomfortable with all the attention, but she also believed that she had to do what she did because here is a lady who has experienced God's grace and could not turn her back on what God had done for her, and believed that she's following the law under which she was elected and the law that exists in Kentucky until somebody rewrites those statutes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what she decides to do on Monday. Governor Mike Huckabee, thanks much.